when the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game, it's been happening all season long.
Going after a superstar and trying to rough them up a little bit to get in their head is a part of sports. But when it crosses the line, the referees need to do their jobs. They need to do their jobs, blow the whistle, and officiate properly.
I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better.
The refs let it happen again, and this time, the entire arena exploded. The IT was supposed to be just another regular season game, but what unfolded on that court? It exposed everything fans have been screaming about all season long. Dangerous fouls, missed calls, and one player at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark. She took an eye poke so blatant it made the crowd gasp.
I think in the face. That's what Clark didn't like. But Mabry came.
And it's contact to the face as well. It'll be interesting to know if they're going to look at.
And when she pushed back, she got hit with a technical foul. You heard that right. The victim got punished. And it didn't stop there. What happened in this game sparked pure outrage, not just from fans, but from coaches, players, and everyone watching at home.
Coach, do you think it's something pertaining to your team, or do you think this is a league-wide issue?
Well, I've seen quite a few dust-ups in the league so far, so I think it's a league-wide issue.
This wasn't just sloppy officiating, it was a complete breakdown of accountability on the league's biggest stage. Was this the worst officiated game of Caitlin Clark's WNBA career? Let's break it down. To understand why this game blew up the way it did, you have to go back to May 30th. When the Indiana Fever faced the Connecticut Sun. That game wasn't just physical, it was dangerous. Two of Clark's teammates, Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson, went down with injuries after reckless plays. And the player involved in both, JC Sheldon wasn't just aggressive, she was out of control. One dive took out Colson's knee. Another collision left Cunningham with a busted ankle and a chipped tooth. But the refs, they swallowed the whistle. No flagrant, no ejection, nothing, and Caitlin Clark? She had to stand there and watch her teammates fall. No justice, no accountability, just silence from the officials. But this beef runs deeper than one WNBA game. Sheldon and Clark have history, and it's ugly. Back in college, Sheldon made it her personal mission to frustrate Clark every time Ohio State faced Iowa. She followed her around the court, bumped her off screens, trash-talked her after whistles. This wasn't just competition, this was personal. So when fans saw Sheldon guarding Clark again in this rematch, they knew something was coming, but nobody expected it to explode like this. June 17th. The rematch, Caitlin Clark is back from a quad injury, fresh off a dominant performance against the undefeated New York Liberty. The energy in the building? Electric. But beneath all the noise, there's a quiet tension. Everyone feels it. From the opening tip, it's obvious JC Sheldon is locked in on Clark. Not just guarding her, shadowing her. Every possession, every screen, she's bumping, grabbing, getting way too close. It's suffocating. This isn't defense. This is a statement. Clark doesn't flinch. But you can see it in her body language. She remembers everything. The injuries, the fouls, the no calls. And now the same player is back, playing the same way. The crowd feels the edge. Teammates start chirping. And Clark, she's just waiting for the moment. And when it comes, it hits fast and hits hard. Midway through the third quarter, the game explodes. Caitlin Clark is bringing the ball up the court, locked in, focused. JC Sheldon steps up for what looks like a steal attempt, but instead, her finger jabs straight into Clark's eye. Clark's head jerks back instantly. She grabs her face in pain. The crowd sees it all in real time. On the replay, it's undeniable. Clear contact, straight to the eye. Dangerous. Obvious. Clark does what any competitor would do. She pushes Sheldon off of her. Not out of aggression, but instinct. She just got poked in the eye on national television. She reacts like a human being, and the referees? They blow the whistle and hit Clark with a technical foul. That's right. The player who got assaulted ends up being the one punished. The crowd erupts in confusion and rage. You can hear the disbelief in the commentator's voice. Fans are pointing at the Jumbotron, watching the slow-mo replay in disbelief. JC Sheldon? No tech, no flagrant, no warning, just a smug walk to the other end of the court. It was a call that made zero sense, and it was about to get even worse. The whistle blew. The arena fell into chaos. Caitlin Clark stood there, hand over her eye, clearly shaken, but also furious. And not just from the pain, from the insult. From the complete disregard for what just happened in front of thousands of fans. And yet, somehow, she's the one who got penalized. When the buzzer finally sounded at the end of the game, the score didn't even matter anymore. Because the real story began at the press conference, head coach Stephanie White didn't hold back. She didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't play politics. She was furious, and the room felt it. When the officials don't get control of the ball game, this is what happens. She wasn't just calling out one bad call. She was calling out a pattern, a trend, a league-wide failure to protect its players. She said what every fan had been thinking all season long: this has been happening over and over again. All year. The refs have to be better. And then there was Clark, standing beside her. She didn't need to say much. The look on her face, it said everything. Cold, locked in, disgusted. A fire was burning behind her eyes, and it wasn't just from the poke. She knew this wasn't an isolated incident. She knew this wasn't just one bad ref on one bad night. It was bigger than that. This was about a league that claims to protect its stars, but keeps letting them get targeted. This was about a system that punishes reaction instead of punishing violence. And the message it sent to every player in the league, loud and clear: you can take shots at Caitlin Clark, and the refs will let it slide, but if you respond, you're the one getting punished. The press conference didn't calm things down. It blew the lid off. Fans online were outraged. Reporters were stunned. Former players were calling out the league by name. This wasn't a controversy anymore, this was a full-blown scandal, and as the temperature rose, one thing became obvious: the chaos on that court was far from over. Just when fans thought the worst was over, Marina Mabrey took it to another level. The Fever were still reeling from the bogus technical on Clark. Tensions were high. You could feel the heat building in every possession. And then, it happened. Caitlin Clark, still trying to shake off the eye poke, is moving up the court. She's frustrated, clearly still in pain, trying to keep the team focused. And out of nowhere, Marina Mabrey flies in like it's hockey, not basketball, and delivers a shoulder check straight into Clark's chest. Clark hits the floor hard. The arena erupts. Fans lose it. Teammates rush over. The Fever bench is out of their seats in seconds. Everyone saw what just happened. It wasn't a hard screen. It wasn't a box out. It was a blatant, unnecessary hit, a message. And it wasn't subtle. The refs finally decide to look at the monitor. And for a moment, there's hope. Maybe they'll get it right this time. They watch the replay. Again. And again. 15 minutes. Reviewing every angle. Slow motion. Real time. Fans are waiting, holding their breath, and then the verdict comes down: another technical foul. That's no flagrant. No ejection. No real consequence. Clark got poked in the eye. Tech. Mabrey body checked her to the floor. Same penalty. Make it make sense. The entire building was in shock. Even the announcers were stunned. The reaction on social media, explosive. WNBA fans, NBA fans, even casual viewers were saying the same thing. How does the league expect to grow if this is how it treats its biggest star? Meanwhile, Clark is still on the floor, teammates are surrounding her, and Stephanie White is losing her mind on the sidelines, pointing, yelling, demanding answers. But the officials have already moved on, and that's when the Fever decided they were done waiting for the refs to do their job. At this point, it wasn't just about basketball. It was about respect, about protection, about sending a message to the league, to the refs, and to every team watching: if you're coming after our players, we're not backing down. The Fever bench was fuming. The players knew exactly what had happened twice. First the eye poke, then the blindside hit, and both times, the referees gave the same meaningless punishment, barely lifting a finger to protect their star. So what happens when the officials lose control of the game? The players take it into their own hands. Stephanie White said it best at the post-game mic: "You've got the best players in the world competing. And when the refs allow this kind of physicality with no consequences, this is what you get. Our players will protect each other." And protect each other they did, because sitting on that Fever bench, watching everything unfold, was Sophie Cunningham. She hadn't forgotten what happened back in May, when JC Sheldon left her injured on the floor. She hadn't forgotten the no call, the silence, the feeling of helplessness. Now, with the game winding down, she saw her chance. She saw the refs weren't going to do a thing, so she did. Final minute. Fever up big. The game is all but over, on the scoreboard, but for Sophie Cunningham, it's far from finished. JC Sheldon grabs a loose ball and sprints up the court for what should have been a meaningless fast break layup. But Sophie's right there. And this time, she's not playing nice. She closes the gap, lines Sheldon up, and in one swift, calculated move, wraps her up midair and brings her down to the floor. No punches, no wild swings, just a textbook flagrant with a purpose. This wasn't a basketball play. It was a message. The same player who hurt her, the same player who eye poked Clark, The same player the refs refused to hold accountable now felt the consequences. The crowd goes crazy. You can hear the eruption. Fever fans are on their feet, chanting Sophie's name. The bench, erupting. Everyone knew what just happened, and they loved every second of it. The refs immediately hit Sophie with a flagrant 2, automatic ejection. Sheldon and another player are also tossed. But Sophie walks off the court like a hero, because in that moment, she wasn't just standing up for herself. She was standing up for every player the refs failed to protect. This wasn't dirty. This was deliberate. A reminder that if the league won't enforce the rules, the players will die. It was one of the most satisfying moments of the entire WNBA season. Not because it was violent, but because it was justice. And just like that, the Fever weren't victims anymore. They were in control. This game wasn't just about getting a win. It wasn't even just about revenge. It was a statement. The Indiana Fever didn't just beat the Connecticut Sun, they exposed something much bigger. A broken system. A pattern of officiating that's failed time and time again to protect the league's biggest stars. Caitlin Clark dropped 20 points and 6 assists. But what she really delivered was resilience. Stephanie White didn't just coach her team, she defended them. And Sophie Cunningham? She stood on business when it mattered most. The Fever are now headed to their first ever Commissioner's Cup final. But more important than the scoreboard, they reminded the entire WNBA what real loyalty looks like when the referees stop protecting players. The Fever protect each other. This isn't just a team. It's a family. And June 17th proved it. If you stand with Clark, Sophie, and the Fever, drop a comment below saying, "We stand together." Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next in this wild WNBA season. Because after what went down in this game, it's clear, the fight is just getting started.